Hare Krishna. Just 1 minute, I'm just trying to share screen. तो कल हमने पढ़ा था chapter 14. Chahat, would you like to give a short summary of that chapter, or should I? If you have prepared the summary, then you can unmute and discuss. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Okay, so कल का जो chapter था उसका नाम था chapter 14, the ecstasy of the Lord and his devotees. तो इसमें हमने देखा था कि कैसे अलग अलग कैटेगरीज में जो डिवोटीज हैं वो भगवान को सर्व करते हैं और धीरे धीरे जो भाव होता है, जिस तरह से हमारा जो डेवलपमेंट होता जाता है तो हमारा भाव जो रस है वो भी डेवलप होता रहता है और पांचों रसों में जो कॉन्जुगल लव है वो प्रोमिनेंट है। नेक्स्ट हमने देखा कि कृष्णा की प्रॉपर्टीज, कृष्णा के क्या क्या कैरेक्टर्स हैं। It was chapter 15. तो chapter 15 में चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने आत्माराम वर्ड्स का एक्सप्लेनेशन दिया है। We'll start directly. मुस्कान, आप एक करके अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं। I will share the screen.
Should I start, Mataji?
Yes.
Conclusions of teachings to Sanatan Goswami. Persons who cultivate knowledge for liberation are of three kinds: those who simply desire liberation, those who are liberated already, even while in this material existence, and those who are actually self-realized. There are many persons in this world who desire liberation, and sometimes they engage in devotional service for this purpose. It is corroborated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.26 that those who actually desire liberation give up all kinds of demigod worship and without envy concentrate their mind in the worship of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When such persons come in contact with a pure devotee, they engage in the devotional service of Krishna and give up the idea of liberation. A verse in the Hari Bhakti Subodhya states, O great soul, although there are many flaws within the miserable life, there is yet one glory, the association of pure devotees. Cultivate such association, but it is our desire for liberation diminishes. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that man's fear is due to his material conception of life and to his forgetting his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord. Consequently, he finds himself having only perverted memories. This occurs due to the spell of material energy. One who has sufficient intelligence will engage in devotional service and regard the Supreme Lord as his spiritual master and worshipable God. My conclusion is that no one can attain a revolution in consciousness without engaging in devotional service of the Lord. When one is actually free from material contamination, he can fully engage himself in Krishna consciousness.
In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is clearly said that one who engages in spiritual life to understand things there as they are, but who lacks all intention of engaging in Krishna consciousness, simply achieves trouble for his undertaking. There is no substance to his life. Every living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it is the duty of every living entity to serve that Supreme Lord. Without such service, the living entity falls into material contamination. Lord Chaitanya concluded his teachings to Sanatana Goswami by pointing out that the six kinds of Atmaramas or transcendentalists engage in some kind of devotional service to Krishna. In other words, at some time or another, all the transcendentalists ultimately come to understand the necessity of rendering devotional service to Krishna and become fully Krishna conscious. Even one is very learned or extravagant, he can still engage in the devotional service of the Lord. The six kinds of transcendentalists are the neophyte transcendentalist and the absorbed transcendentalist, one who is situated in transcendence, one who desires liberation, and one who is actually liberated, and one who is in activities of his constitutional position. All of these Atmaramas, all of these are Atmaramas. When a person becomes an Atmarama or a greater thinker in Krishna consciousness, he fully he fully engages in devotional service. According to the grammatical rules, there are many kinds of Atmaramas, but one sense of the word is sufficient to represent others. In collective sense, all the Atmaramas are inclined to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. The mystic who worships the super soul within himself is also an Atmarama. The Atmarama yogis are of two kinds, Sarbhaga and uh, Sagarbha and Nirgava. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, some yogis meditate within their heart on the localized Vishnu, who is 402 fold for the symbols, conch, disc, mace, and lotus. The yogi who thinks of the 400 Vishnu becomes absorbed in devotional ecstasy and shows the symptoms of that state. Sometimes he cries, sometimes he feels separation from the Lord, and in this way he merges in the transcendental bliss, resulting in his resulting in his becoming entrapped like a fish.
The Sagarbha and Nigarbha yogis can be further divided into three categories: the beginner, the advanced yogi, and he who has attained perfection. These yogis are described in the sixth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Those who are trying to ascend the path of mystic yoga are called uh, Arurukshu yogis, beginners. In Arurukshu yoga, one practices various sitting postures and concentrates the mind. One ascends the path of yoga by means of meditation and detachment. And when one is no longer attached to working for sense gratification, he gradually becomes free. As at that time, he attains a stage of ecstasy called yoga rudha. If such a mystic yogi somehow or other comes in contact with a saintly person, he becomes a devotee of Krishna. The word Urukrama has already been explained. It indicates the Supreme Lord. All the Atmaramas are engaged in devotional service to Urukrama. Before engaging in devotional service, such transcendentalists are santas or pacified devotees.
The word Atma or self is sometimes translated as mind. Sometimes mental speculators present philosophical theories in different ways, but when they come in contact with saintly persons engaged in devotional service, they also become devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.18 describes the two classes of yogis, Sagarbha and Nigarbha, as follows. The yogis begin their practice of yoga by worshipping the abdomen, and they try to concentrate their attention on their intestines. Gradually, their meditation rises to the heart and they concentrate the mind there. Then they gradually direct their attention to the top of the head. One who can raise his meditation to that position is understood to have perfect and to be no longer subject to birth and death. Even such yogis render causeless devotional service to the Lord when they come in contact with pure devotees.
The word Atma also means an adorer. In every practice, there is some adorer, and the ultimate adorer is the adorer to reach the highest perfection stage of devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that one should try to attain the highest goal, which cannot be attained there either in the higher or lower retinary systems. The idea is that material happiness and miseries are automatically available in all planetary systems in the course of time. But the highest achievement, devotional service, cannot be attained anywhere without endeavor. Therefore, in the Barhan Naradiya Puran, it is said that one who is serious about understanding the highest perfection state of devotional service can become successfully simply by his endeavor. One cannot attain the highest perfection stage of devotional service without perfection. Personal endeavor, as Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 10.10. To those who are constantly rendering devotional service to me with love, I who am situated in everyone's heart, give the intelligence by which they can make an untethered process in devotional activities. The word Atma also means dhrati, patience and perseverance. By patience and perseverance, one can achieve the highest stage of devotional service. As far as the word Muni is concerned, there are addition meanings. The word also refers to a word and a large black bee. Another meaning of the word Nirgrantha is a foolish person. Thus, even words win and foolish people engage in the service of the Supreme Lord when they are favored by the pure devotee. Indeed, it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the bird in Vrindavan are devoted to the service of the Supreme Lord. It is also stated in the Bhagavatam that the black winds in Vrindavan always follows Krishna and Balrama. In that verse, Sri Krishna describes to Balrama the devotional service the bees were rendering unto him. Lord Mataji, scroll कीजिए. Balrama. O Supreme Victorious One, O original personality of Godhead, just see how these bees are following you, glorifying your transcendental fame and thus worshipping you. Actually, these bees are not as they appear. They are great sages who are taking this opportunity to worshipping the Supreme Soul. Although you are not knowledgeable by ordinary persons, they know you and they are following and glorifying you.
In the next verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna describes the similar reception given to Balram by the peacocks and cuckoos of Vrindavan. O worshipable one, just see how the peacocks returning to their nests are receiving you with full pleasure. These peacocks are just like the damsels of Raja. The cuckoos on the branches of the trees are also receiving you in their own way. The residents of Vrindavan are so glorious that everyone is prepared to render devotional service to the Lord. Another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam describes a similar reception given to Krishna by the birds of Vrindavan. Oh, just see how the cranes and swans on the water are singing the glories of the Lord. Indeed, they are standing in the water, meditating on Him and worshipping Him. It is stated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam. Even the aborigines, and uncivilized man, human beings like Kirats, Hunas, Andhras, oh yes, you can leave. Andhras, Pulindas, Pulakshas, Aviras, Shumbhas, Yavanas, and Khasas, as well as many others such human beings, can all be purified simply by taking shelter of the pure devotees. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami offered his respectful obeisances unto Lord Vishnu, whose devotees can work so wonderfully. Another meaning of Dhriti is to realize oneself as elevated. In this state, one feels that he is free from all miseries and is elevated to the highest platform of life. All devotees of Krishna and full Krishna consciousness are free from all kinds of miseries and material pleasures. They are fully absorbed in the service of the Lord, and they are always jolly by virtue of their engagement in His transcendental service. They are experienced men of happiness. Wow. Indeed, they are so happy that they do not even wish to be promoted to the spiritual planets, for they are happy in every sphere of life. Being fulfilled in transcendental service to the Lord, they desire neither material objects nor material sense pleasures. As stated by six Goswamis, person whose senses are fixed in the service of the Lord can be all peaceful. Thus the word Atmaram indicates that even birds, beasts, and fools, in short, everyone can become attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna, engage in his service, and become liberated.
Still, another meaning of Atma is intelligence. One who has special intelligence is also called Atmaram. The Atmarams with special intelligence are of two kinds. One is the learned sage, and the other is the fool without book knowledge. Both of these can have an opportunity of associate with a pure devotee. Even the foolish Atmarams can give up everything and engage in Krishna consciousness in pure devotional service. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Supreme Lord Krishna is the origin of everything, that everything emanates from him, and that anyone who is actually intelligent understand this and engage in this service. Our words in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.7.46 stated to say nothing of persons who are intelligent enough to study the Vedas, even less intelligent person like women, laborers, hunas, and savaras, as well as the words and wits can achieve the highest perfection stage of life by engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. As previously quotes Bhagavad Gita also indicates that when a person becomes highly intelligent and engages in Krishna consciousness, Krishna recip- reciprocates by giving him the intelligence by which he can be promoted to the abode of the Supreme Lord. The Lord then told Sanatana Goswami that the association of good devotees engagement in the transcendental service of the Lord, the understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and residence in a holy place like Vrindavan or Mathura are all very important for elevation to the transcendental plan. One need not practice all five of these items. If one is expert in just one of them, they he will without fail be elevated to the stage of love of Godhead. One who is actually intelligent gives up all material desires and engages in the transcendental service of Krishna. The influence of devotional service is such that a person who engages in it give up all material desires and becomes fully attached to Krishna. Being inspired by the transcendental qualities of the Lord, such is the beauty of the Lord in the eyes of his devotees. Another meaning of the word Atma is nature. In this case, the word Atmaram indicates that everyone is enjoying the particular nature he has acquired, but the ultimate nature, the eternal nature of the living entity is to serve the Supreme Lord. One who attains to the perfection of understanding his real nature as eternal servant of the Lord gives up his distinctive material of bodily conception of life. That is real knowledge. Those who are in pursuit of knowledge and who get the opportunity to associate with a pure devotee also engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Sages like four Kumaras as well as fools and birds and can engage in the Lord's transcendental service by being favored with Krishna's causeless mercy. Anyone can be elevated to the platform of Krishna consciousness.
One who becomes attracted by the transcendental qualities of Krishna begins devotional service. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna glorifies the land of Vrindavan as he addresses Balaram in this way. Jnaneyam adya dharani trina viruddhastvat padasprasho durmalatah parjabrimshatah nadyo adya yah khagamrikaah सदयावलोकैर् गोप्या अन्तरेण बुद्ध्योरपि यत्स्पृहा श्री. This land of Rajabhumi is made glorious by the touch of your feet. Being touched by your fingers, the creepers have also become glorious. When you look on the hills, rivers, and lower animals, they too all made glorious, and the gopis being embraced by your transcendental arms are also made glorious. The gopis glorified Vrindavan in the following words. Dear friends, all these inhabitants of Rajabhumi, everyone including the birds, beasts, and trees, are glorified when they see Lord Krishna and Lord Balram singing on their flutes as they go to the pasturing grounds with their friends. The word Atma also means this body. The yogis who practice bodily exercises, considering the body to be the self, are also elevated to the transcendental service of the Lord if they associate with the pure devotees. There are many people who believe the body to be the self, and they are engaged in many fruitive activities, including bathing rituals and ordinary worldly activities. But when they come in contact with a pure devotee, they also engage in the transcendental service of the Lord. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, O my dear Suta Goswami, we have become darkened by the sacrificial smoke of fruitive activities, but you have given us the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. It is also stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, the waters of the Ganges flows from the tip of the lotus feet of Krishna, and by bathing in that water, everyone, including fruitive actors and all sages, can wash dirty things from the mind.
even those who believed that the body is the self, or those who are full of material desires, are also in a sense Atmaram. When they associate with the pure devotees of the Lord, they give up their material desires and become perfect in the service of the Lord. The best example of this is found in the Hari Bhakti Sudhaya, wherein Dhruva Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, I came to worship you because I desired some land on this earth, but fortunately I have attained you, who are beloved beyond even the perception of great sages and saintly person. I came to search out some uh, par- par- partial practicals of colored glass by but instinct I found a very valuable game like you. I am satisfied and I do not desire to ask anything of you." माता जी स्क्रॉल कीजिए.
रोल कर दिया माता जी.
Yes. There is also another meaning to the word nigrantha. The word can also mean police hunter or breast poor man. There is an instance of such a hunter who attended salvation and engaged himself in the devotional service of the Lord simply by associating with the pure devotee Narada. Indeed, Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana Goswami the following story uh, of the hunters meeting with Narada. Once there was a hunter in the forest of Pragya who was fortunate enough to meet Narada Muni when the great sage was returning from Vaikuntha after visiting Lord Narayana. Narada came to Pragya to bathe in the confluence of the Gangas and Yamuna. While, while passing through the forest, Narada said the bird lying on the ground. The bird was half killed, having been perceived by an arrow, and it was chirping piteously. Further, one on Narada say the deer flopping about in lonely. Further, he said that a boar was also suffering, and in another place he say a rabbit twitching in pain. All this made him feel very compassionate, and he began to think, who is the foolish man who has committed such sins? In great general, devotees of the Lord are compassionate toward the suffering living entities, and so what to speak of the great sage Narada. He became very much aggrieved by this scan, and after proceeding a few steps he say the hunter engaged in hunting with a bow and arrows. The hunter's complexion was very black and his eyes were red. It appeared to be dangerous just to see him standing there with his bow and arrows, looking just like an associate of Yamraja death. Seeing him, Narada Muni entered deeper into the forest to approach him. As Narada Muni passed through the forest, all the animals who were caught, caught in the hunter's trap fled away. The hunter became very angry at this, and he was just about to call Narada will names. But due to the influence of saintly Narada, the hunter could not utter such blasphemous. Rather, with gentle behavior, he asked Narada, "My dear sir, why have you come here while I am hunting? Have you strayed from the general path? Because you have come here, all the animals in my traps have fled."
Yes, I'm sorry, Bharat replied. I have come to you to find my own path and to inquire from you. While on the path, I have seen that there are many boars, deer, and rabbits left in the forest floor, half dead and flopping about. Who has committed these sinful acts? What have you seen is all right, the hunter replied. It was done by me. Hunting all these poor animals, why don't you kill them at once? Narad asked. You half kill them and they are writhing in their death pangs. This is a great sin. If you want to kill an animal, why don't you kill it completely? Why do you leave it half killed and allow it to die flopping around? My dear lord, the hunter replied, my name is Megari, enemy of the animals, and I am simply following the teachings of my father who taught me to half kill animals and leave them flopping about. When a half dead animal suffers, I take great pleasure in it. I beg only one thing from you, Narad implored. Please accept it. Oh yes, sir. I shall give you whatever you like, the hunter said. If you want some animal skins, come to my house. I have many skins of animals, including tigers and deer. I shall give whatever you like. I do not first want such things, but I do want something else. Since you kindly agreed to grant it to me, I shall tell you. Please henceforth from tomorrow, whenever you kill an animal, please kill it completely. Don't leave it half dead. My dear sir, why are you asking me? What are you asking me? What is the difference between killing half killing an animal and killing it completely? If you half kill the animals, they suffered great pain. Narad explained. And if you give so much pain to other living entities, you commit great sin. This is a great offense committed when you kill an animal completely, but the offense is much greater when you half kill it. Indeed, the pain which you give half dead animals will have to be accepted by you in the future birth. Although the hunter was very sinful, his heart became softened, and he became afraid of his sins by virtue of his association with a great devotee like Narad. Those who are grossly sinful are not at all afraid of committing sins, but here we can see that because his purification began in the association of a great devotee like Narad, the hunter became afraid of his sinful activities. The hunter therefore replied, my dear sir, from my very childhood, I have been taught to kill animals in this way. Please tell me how can I counteract all the offenses and sinful activities I have committed? I am surrendering unto your feet. Please save me from the reactions to the sinful activities I have committed in the past and please direct me to the proper path so that I can be free.
If you actually want to follow my directions, I can tell you the real path by which you can be freed from these sinful reactions. I shall follow whatever you say without hesitation. The hunter agreed. Narada then told him to first break his vow. Only then would Narada disclose the path of liberation. You are asking me to break my vow, the hunter protested by if I break it. But what will be the means of my livelihood? Don't worry about your livelihood. Narada said, I shall send your sufficient grains so you can live. The hunter then broke his bow and fell down at the feet of Narada. Narada got him to stand up and he instructed him, just go to your come and distribute whatever money and valuable you have to the devotees and the brahmanas. They come out and follows me wearing only one cloth. Construct a small test house on the river bank and sow a tulsi plant by that house. Just circumambulate the tulsi tree and every day taste one fallen leaf. Above all, always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As far as your livelihood is concerned, I shall send you the grains you need, but you must accept only as much grains as you required for yourself and your wife. Narada then revived the half dead animals and getting freed from their dead, deadful condition, they freed away upon seeing Narada achieved this miracle. The black hunter was struck with wonder. After taking Narada to his camp, he blocked down again at his feet. Narada returned to his place, and the hunter, after returning home, began to execute the instruction Narada had given him. In the meantime, news spread among all the villages that the hunter did become a devotee. Consequently, the residents of the villages came to see the new Vaishnava. It is the Vedic custom to bring grains of fruits whenever one goes to see a saintly person. And since all the villagers say that the hunter and turned into a great devotee, they brought eatables with them. Thus, every day he was offered grains and fruits, so much so that no less than 10 to 20 people could have eaten there. But following Narada's instructions, he did not accept more than but he and his wife required to live on. After some days had passed, Narada told his friend Parvata Muni, I have a disciple. Let us go visit him and see if he is doing well. When the two great sages Narada and Parvata went to the hunter's home, the hunter saw his spiritual master coming from a distance and began to approach him with great respect. On his way to greet the great sages, the hunter said that there were ants on the ground before him, and they were hindering his passage. When he reached the sages, he wanted to bow down before them, but before he did so, he carefully cleared away the ants with his clothes. When Narada said that the hunter was trying to save the lives of the ants, and this way he was reminded of a verse from the Sankada Puran. It is not wonderful that our devotees of the Lord is not inclined to give any sort of pain to anyone, not even an ant. Although formerly the hunter had taken great pleasure in half killing animals, since he had become a great devotee of the Lord, he was prepared to give pain even to an ant.
The hunter then received the two great sages at his home and offered them a sitting place, brought water and washed their feet. Then the hunter and his wife took some of the water and drank it, and finally they both sprinkled the water on their heads. After this, they felt great ecstasy and began to dance while singing Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They raised their hands and danced with their clothes flying. When the two sages saw this ecstasy of love of God had manifest in the body of the hunter, Parvat Muni told Narad, You are a touchstone, for by your association even a great hunter has turned into a great devotee. There is a verse in Skanda Purana which states, My dear Deva Rishi, you are so glorious, and by your association and by your mercy, even the lowest creature, a hunter of the animals, also became elevated to the path of devotion and attained transcendental attachment for Krishna. At length, Narad inquired of the hunter devotee, Are you getting your foodstuffs regularly? You send so many people, the hunter replied, and they bring so much food that we cannot eat it all. That's all right, Narad replied. Whatever you're getting is all right. Now just continue your devotional service. After Narad had spoken this, both he and Parvatmani disappeared from the hunter's home. Lord Chaitanya recited this story to show that even a hunter can be engaged in the devotional service of the Lord by influence of the pure devotees. Okay, so we'll stop here. हम कल कंटिन्यू करेंगे। तो हमने देखा कैसे चैतन्य महाप्रभु अलग अलग एग्जाम्पल्स के थ्रू ये एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं कि चाहे कैसा भी इंसान हो, अगर वो प्योर डिवोटीज के कांटेक्ट में आता है तो वो डिवोशनल सर्विस करेगा, कर सकता है वो, जैसे हमने अभी बिगारी का एग्जाम्पल देखा। ठीक है, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री गुरु चरण पद्मा